Good morning, everybody. I'm Tom Greenwood. This is my Everyman Carpenter YouTube channel, and I had a viewer out there ask me to unpack on some ideas that I had presented in a video, which the idea was, if you want better clients, get better tools. And he or she, I don't know, they asked, what is it about the getting better tools to get you better clients? Okay, so first thing I'm going to say is I have no empirical evidence on this. This is purely my own kind of reflections. There's no data to back this up. This is just like feelings and observations that I get. Having said that, a lot of this channel, besides the empirical how to build X, Y, and Z, or how to hold up X, Y, and Z, a lot of this stuff is philosophical or touchy-feely kind of stuff anyway. So having said that, here we go. So my observation has been that as I upgrade my toolkit, as I get like what I would call better tools, that I tend to get better clients. And I don't have a way to describe exactly how this happens. But what I have seen with myself and with others is that there's often like tools are expensive, like solid tools, like worker grade, construction grade, pro grade tools are expensive, and really good pro tools are really they're seriously prohibitively costly. There's always an investment that has to be made into those tools, and that investment is never feels cheap. You know what I mean? It never feels cheap to go drop $300 on a cordless circular saw. It never feels cheap to drop $250 on a cordless hammer drill. It never feels cheap to drop $500 on a laser level, auto laser level. It never feels cheap to make any of these investments into the tools. My boots cost $200. My pants are $50 a shot. These are just what it costs to have stuff that when I work with it, it feels good. So one of the reasons I advocate for getting better tools, just from a craftsman standpoint, when I am working on a house, when I'm working on a project, whatever it may be, there's always a certain amount of like my own skill and thinking and abilities that are at work. And then there's the material that is just a limiting factor. And then there's the materials that I'm working with, and how good they are is a limiting factor. Just how much of a quality item they will produce. And then there's the medium, that like there's the intermediary, which is the tools that I actually work with. So the better tools are, the less they interfere between like my craftsmanship and the product I'm trying to create. So when I get better tools, literally there's like less friction between like what I want to come out and what will actually occur. So I reduce that like coefficient. I reduce the friction that's lost between my own skill and the item I'm attempting to craft or create. So that's automatic, and people who know quality can see quality, and so that gives me an advantage right there. The other thing about getting better tools is like when I go and spend $500 on a laser, like I'm like, yeah, I got a $500 laser that I had repaired. I spent about $800 on this laser. Very precise, allows me to do very accurate work when used correctly. I want to take care of that thing, you know what I mean? Like I pack it up and put it in its case and make sure it's all stowed away and has all its stuff every single time, because the cost of it breaking is $800. Like it costs me another $500 to replace it, or $458 plus shipping and handling, right? So I want to take care of that every time that I have good tools, and I want to take care of them. That desire for cleanliness and orderly inside of just the caring for my tools, not even my work, it actually spills over into other things that I want to do. So it spills over into other parts. Then I want to keep like my truck clean. I want to keep my workspace clean. I want to keep my work itself clean and quality and nice. And don't get me wrong, I make errors, I get lazy, I get tired, I'm human, I'm prone to fail, it's gonna happen. But there's a thing that happens with a certain echelon of clientele, which is if you keep a clean, orderly workspace, and I'm not saying immaculate, but like not trashed everywhere, they love it at the end of the day when they come in and like everything is picked up, stowed away, swept up, all the tools are cleaned up, and it looks orderly even though it's in the middle of the work. They love it. They absolutely love it and they appreciate that. And the thing is that in construction, a lot of my work comes referral. So every client is not my last client, you know what I mean? And every time I do a good job, they're gonna say, oh, I had this guy, he did a good job, I like what he did, or he was capable here. So that, like, that having good tools, wanting to take care of them, wanting to clean up my workspace, all pushes me to be more appealing. Now, don't get me wrong, my clothes are work stained, dirty, chewed up from the work just eating them, you know what I mean? But they're not trash, you know what I mean? And I know guys who spend a lot of time like really preening their appearance, and I don't blame them for it, I don't fault them. It does well for them. Clients love it when you show up in like, my friend has a pair of boots that he calls his client boots. They're work boots. He keeps them clean. They don't have any caulk or staining. They look to be well maintained. He wears those when he goes to meet with clients for the first time. Now, he's got his work clothes that he wears, but he keeps his stuff pretty squared away. And I think that helps him quite a bit. You know what I mean? So the having better tools and taking care of them, and that spilling over into my work and my workspace, like literally the better work and the desire to keep the tools clean, gets me better clients. Now, there's something that I observe, like there's this thing we say where like clothes make the man. And I have like work grade pants, and then I have pants that I spent more money on. And when I put those more expensive pants on, they feel comfortable. Now, when I'm comfortable, there's less stuff interfering between me and the work that I'm trying to do, right? I'm not distracted by my boots don't fit right, or my pants aren't fitting right, or my belt, or whatever. I'm not distracted by that, so I can be more present in the moment, and I can be more focused on what I'm doing and less distracted by all the stuff around me. So it's kind of like eliminating these distractions, but that eliminates friction later on. You know what I mean? And it also, that when you feel good, people recognize that. You know what I mean? They can see it in your posture, they can see it in the way you walk, they can see it in the way you move. They might not be able to identify it with words, but they can say, no, he's got something about it. She's got something about it. It's just the way they look, feel, and move. You know what I mean? And that comes back to having those better tools. You know what I mean? The other thing is that I don't know about other people. I can only talk about myself. And this is like real internal, touchy-feely kind of stuff. But like everybody's got fear. You know what I mean? And every time that I have to face that fear of like, man, I got to go buy a 300, like I broke an oscillator. To replace it was $150. I'm like, I could use that $150 somewhere else in my life. You know what I mean? I got places I could spend $150 that would be useful, but I had to buy that tool. I needed that tool. Every time I make that investment in that tool and I have to face that, like that fear of like, well, what am I going to do? The money comes back. You know what I mean? Every time I make that investment in a better tool where I feel like I'm going to lose the money, what seems to happen is like something shows up that's like, oh, the universe like reciprocates to me. Like, oh, you made the investment in yourself. You met the grade. You did the thing. Somebody's going to come along and want to take care of me. You know what I mean? People who want good stuff don't mind paying for it, but they want people who can deliver a good product along all lines, outside of carpentry, building, you name it. They want that. And when I am willing to make that investment in a better tool, which is an investment in a better self and in better work, the universe kind of reciprocates. And I don't know, like a lot of religions and cultures can describe this. They have words for it. It's kind of a universal thing that exists with humans, which is that the universe recognizes and reciprocates. You know what I mean? So when I'm doing the thing where I'm like taking care of my stuff and getting better tools and facing the fear of like not having enough in my life, in my universe, the universe reciprocates. Like, well, you made the upgrade, so here, let me give you this stuff. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong, like it's still salty when last year I broke a $300 drill. I had it 3 months and I broke it, and I had to have it. I had to go to the store that day and get it. I needed it. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to shell out $300 because the tool breaks, but tools break in my line of work. And the thing is that the better tools I have, the less prone they are to breaking. You know what I mean? A lot of the work I do is non-standard. You guys have seen my videos of me like lifting up houses and holding stuff in place. I need my tools to be able to perform under conditions they were not designed to meet. And the only way I can do that is by having solid tools, because it's going to break at the wrong time. If I have a cheap tool, it's going to break when I need it to work the most, and that's just the way it goes. So I can't leave anything to chance in those kind of situations. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to leave it to chance when I got to pick up a house. When I got to hold a house or a wall open above my head and walk underneath it and be able to work, I can't worry if my tool is going to fail while I'm working on it. I need to know that it's going to perform every single time. You know what I mean? And all of that, like, all of that stuff is synergistic. It all adds up. A little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. It all adds up. Every single time it adds up. There are a certain class of people who might know about what tools are what, but generally speaking, like clients don't know that they wouldn't know the difference between, like, I don't know, a Ryobi or a DeWalt or a Milwaukee or like a Festool, a Hilti. They wouldn't know the difference. They don't know what the difference is, except when they go to buy one. You know what I mean? So I'm not really worried about my clients necessarily recognizing a better grade of tool, because I don't think it's going to sell anything. And all those things can be had by money. Like, anybody that's got cash can go buy all of my tools. It doesn't mean that they are capable of doing the work that I'm capable of doing. You know what I mean? Being able to buy the tools doesn't mean that they're capable of doing the work. But with people who are craftsmen and who make the investment in their work, there is a thing that like in their tools that they do the work with, there's a thing that happens with them. You know what I mean? They have pride in their tools. They take care of them. They want to do better work, or they do better work and they have better tools. Who knows? They have a different appearance. They are able to work faster. They are able to be more accurate. Their speed of work is quicker. All of these things add up. You know what I mean? The quote unquote biting the bullet to be able to get those tools, it adds up and it shows in them. Like, hey, this guy's not afraid to throw down the cash to have good tools to be able to do good work on my house. And he values, like, you know, I have thousands and thousands of dollars in tools that I carry around with me. On any given day, I might work with $2,000 or $3,000 worth of tools. That's just what it takes on that in particular day. Somebody's not afraid to bite the bullet and get those tools that they need to do the job, isn't afraid to also value themselves correctly. They're also not afraid to cut corners. They're also not, they're not gonna cut corners because they're not afraid of some loss somewhere else. All of that stuff adds up, you know? So yes, it's a mental game. It's a mental thing for them. It's a mental thing for me. But it's also an actual real world true thing. A more comfortable tool that's easier to work with and ultimately more accurate makes better stuff come out of it. And I feel better when I do it, which makes that I have an even better product. You know what I mean? And I don't have failure and I don't have stuff like that. Now, like I said, this is all very difficult to put my finger on. I don't have a specific A to B to C to D, like mathematical formula. This is strictly an observation. And I'm willing to put in the time to get the better tools, to use those tools, to maintain those tools, keep them, and work with them, that I get better clients. And when I face the apprehension that I might have about that upgrade to the next echelon of tool and get it anyway, it always pays dividends. I never feel bad about using the tool, ever. I never feel like, oh man, that was a waste of money to have that better tool. I'm like, I'm glad I bit the bullet. It feels more comfortable. It does better work. You know what I mean? And that just adds up. So it's all like a snowball effect, you know? And I don't have an exact particular way to describe it other than, like, I I make the investment and the universe reciprocates that investment back into me. And that's what real, like, hippy dippy metaphysical stuff. But I don't have something better than that, because there's no way to means test it exactly. I just know that people I know that do better work, the people that I emulate, the people that I want to do work like, they got better tools. They have better tools, period, and they do a better quality of work, period. And people that I don't want to be like, you can just tell their shit just don't look like it's squared away. You know what I mean? No offense to them, but they got cheap tools, they do cheap work, they work for cheap people, and ultimately their stuff is just kind of like, meh, it's okay. You know what I mean? But I want better clients. You know what I mean? I don't just want to do better work. Like, I like the work that I do. I don't hate the work that I do, but I do hate cheap clients. You know what I mean? And cheap clients want cheap builders who have cheap tools and do cheap shit. And I have failed, but I never want my work to fail. You know what I mean? Like I've done work that didn't hold up, or I missed something, had to fix it. Somebody else had to fix it. So I'm not immune. I'm not perfect, but I don't want to be that person. So I need to be able to rely on my tools. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that unpacks it enough for you, but I've spent some time talking about it. That's what I got. I hope you guys can trust what I'm saying to be true and accurate for me, and that maybe it will help you in your quest to like self mastery, because that's really what this is about. It's about mastery of self. Anyway, I've gone on for 15 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay cool. It's going to be hot as fuck out there. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye.